Hello everyone, and welcome back again to another lesson in this OpenGL series. Now in this lesson I'm going to show you how to make or to use actually the OBJLoader which I've provided for you in order to load OBJ files which you have OBJ files which contains objects which you have modeled and textures inside Maya, and export and you have exported it outside in an OBJ format and import it inside OpenGL. Now let me just rename this model from Earth to be like Jupiter or so, because I am importing Jupiter model here. Let me just rename that guy and rename that guy too, and rename that. Now in order to use the OBJLoader is quite easy. Just first let me pin that. Just first include the OBJLoader inside your scene or inside the OBJLoader library. So add references and you add the OBJLoader. And the same thing is for the whole thing is actually the whole process is the same for the OBJLoader here. Excuse me, for the OpenGL normal simple OpenGL application. Now please make sure that your utils library or utils class, when you have set attributes, you have to set your attributes like so. So you have to enable a couple stuff. First of all, depth test for depth buffer, enabling depth test for depth buffer. Enable blending for transparency, and this is the transparency function, or that is the blending function, giving the hint of course for perspective view in order to correct its stuff. Enable the alpha testing, and this is the alpha function you have to be enabled. And the texture 2D has to be enabled, and also I advise you to enable lights all the time in order to get the transparency happening, because if you don't have lights enabled you will never get transparency. Okay, so if I just erase that, we're gonna have everything just dim and we have to create our lights, which I actually dedicated a special lesson for that. So I'm actually gonna keep out, I'm not gonna actually work with lights for now, I'm just gonna work without lights. Okay, now come back to the OpenGL.cs, and of course you have to just separate your modeling or your model kind of initialization somewhere in another class and so on. This will be, I believe, much more clean. Now rendering the scene, okay, first you create a new model, and you of course you have an object of a model, so model Jupiter, and after initialization here, so after initializing everything, I already initializing my object here. So Jupiter equal to new model, and here you have to pass a unique name, because I am actually already set a global variable, a global track of all models that you create in a hash table or in a dictionary. So I am forcing you here to make everything as it should be. I mean, organizing your models, so it will be easier for you if you would like to search for a model for any kind of reason in real time. You can just simply index it with the name, search by the index, which is going to be the name of your model, and you have to pass the full path to the OBJLoader, at least for this current version. The next version to come, you will not actually need to you will not actually need to pass the whole path, but generally just for now just put the whole path to your object. Okay, because I'm hunting here not only the OBJ file but the material file as well, so please make sure about that. Now once I create a new model and I have loaded it into my memory or video card memory, now of course after GL clear and load identity and all those stuff, now region Jupiter. Okay, and in push matrix, for example, right now I'm gonna rotate, so let me try to take this, well, a little bit out. Well, it doesn't matter, I will leave it in there. So you do whatever transformations you do, and here you call the rendering part, so Jupiter.render object, that's it. You don't need actually any kind of modifications further. So let me debug and start without debugging. As you see here, this is Jupiter. I already made it in Maya and textured it, and also in Maya, and then I exported it into OBJ file. Okay, so this is our Jupiter. Now let me close this, And let me go to Maya here, to our lamp. You remember the lamp from the last lessons of modeling the lamp. And what I'm gonna do is just simply save this. First of all, for people who cannot find the OBJLoader display, window, settings, preferences, and plugin manager. Okay, once you select that, you're gonna end up with a window like this. But of course, most of these stuff are not checked. We'll check them all if you want to, but please make sure that, let me see here, OBJ export is loaded. You just check it and load it. It has to be loaded. And then once you would like to do that, so just simply select your objects, select whatever you want to export. So I'm selected everything here. File and export selection. And as you see here, I get the OBJ export here, you see. And then I'm gonna say export selection. And to be honest, I'm gonna position it somewhere in my Visual Studio. There you go. And here in my projects, in my OBJLoader testing unit here, bin, I'm just actually pasting it somewhere here. So I'm gonna call it like street lamp dot obj, or I could have even, don't need to add the obj dot, but it's okay, and hit the export. Okay, now it's exported successfully. Now let me get back to my Visual Studio back here again. I'm gonna rename this to street lamp. Select that. I like actually to be just a bit organized here. I don't want to be lost. There you go. And here I'm gonna just rename it to street lamp. And let's hope it's gonna work. So debug, start without debugging. And it is in there, but it's quite large that I cannot actually see. So what I'm gonna do is, oh well, let me see here. I'm gonna actually scale it down, but to be honest, I'm gonna push here. I'm gonna say rendering street lamp. So street lamp. Okay. Push the whole thing probably in Y -5. Let me see here. Let me hit Control F5 and see how it's gonna look like. Yeah, we pushed it a bit. Right now I have to be way back. Let's say minus, well, no, not minus, actually it's gonna be like let me see, 10. Oh well, it's kind of a black screen. Sorry, actually it appears on my second monitor here. Hold on a second. And we are there almost. Now let me try to go -20. Yep, we are almost there. Let me push it up to -8. And here it is somehow. Let me try to push it even further. -10. Probably 2 units is going to be enough for it. Okay, here you go. So here is my model, and since it is not actually textured and I enabled texture 2D, I get actually my model is kind of a white little thing. But as a matter of fact, generally after we texture this object in Maya, you can end up with, well, that object generally. So here you go. This is how to work with the OBJLoader. Just export your file into in OBJ from Maya, then simply just reference or just put the path once you're gonna work actually in Visual Studio, just put the full path inside here in Visual Studio once you create a new object of the model class, and then just simply is gonna be put in there. And then later on, just when you want to do your old transformations which you like to do, and then simply attach the render objects just to begin initialization or to initialize rendering your objects. Alright, probably this is it. This is it actually for the OBJLoader, guys. So next lesson we're gonna see how to work with lighting, and then I'm gonna show you the test for transparency, and you're gonna see how transparency works as it should be while lighting is enabled in the next lesson. So see you in the next lesson.